Alrighty, looks like we're live, so let's get this crap going. Let's see. I got a few things we'll be going over today. Give me a sec. I'm thinking where should we start? We'll start off reviewing what's coming up this week. Give that a minute. I'm trying to think what else. Draghi's up twice today, but like someone said, it's probably going to be about Brexit because that seems to still be a freaking giant pain in everyone's ass. Come on, click. There we go. 2, 3, what the hell? There we go. Alright, so I guess we'll start off with what's coming up this week. And alright, so we're going to cover what's coming up this week. Basically, news releases are going to start picking up again. Last week was pretty much dead. The last week of the month is typically dead, unless there's some quarterly reports that are popping in, which this is November, so we're not going to have any of those. December, we will have a bunch, plus end-of-year crap. December gets pretty hectic. Again, before we get going, we are after Thanksgiving, so we need to be aware that holiday trading conditions are going to start setting in. If you're trading Forex or you're trading binary options, you want to be extremely careful, guys and gals. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put it that way. As you're going to get we're going to see some crazy market conditions or some dead market conditions. Mainly what you'll see is lack of structure, and if there's no structure, it's kind of hard to trade. And as we get into those, I'll be showing what I mean by lack of structure. Some days markets actually look pretty good, but you just need to be able to identify what's going on in the markets. So let's talk about this week. Today's Monday, November 28th. As you can see, we got 2 Draghi speeches up. This is mainly going to be focusing on Brexit, from what I understand. I'm not even going to be straddling or trading these. I'm just going to be ignoring them. The next one we have up then is another speech by a CAD speech. We're going to ignore that one too. I will not be trading it. So today we basically have a no trade day. Not for binary options or for Forex, but for news. We're going to be focusing in on the news releases that are coming up this week. Now tomorrow we start picking up the pace a little bit. 7:30 we got USD CAD. We're going to definitely be straight trading that one. Then we have 9 a.m. consumer confidence. And that's it. So we have 2 for the day. Now, if you're in the group, make sure and listen. NZD, you can trade this on demo. It'll most likely have an extremely high spread, but it's good to learn it on demo. And then we have another speech that we can ignore. Okay, so we only have 2 tradables. We have preliminary and consumer confidence. If you want to straddle this one, that's fine, but it's not going to move. I mean, really, these are a waste of time. So 2 of them tradable and the rest not. NZD is a no-no, and this one's a no-no. Moving into Wednesday, we have Brent stress test results. You could straddle it. I don't foresee too much going on there. OPEC meetings all day. The only thing at point of interest in that is that I think Saudi Arabia won't be attending those, which is odd since they have a shit ton of oil. Maybe there's been an update since then, but it's kind of odd that they're not going to be attending. Again, Draghi's up again. Won't be straddling that one. We'll ignore it. 7:15, this may or may not move. It's ADP, non-farm employment change. It's kind of like the pre-release, but we're going to go real quick from 7:15 to having one. So we could do this when USD JPY and Euro USD. Again, GBP is off the table. If you're Pepperstone, you could do this one maybe on CAD. And if you want to do it on FXCM, I'd say demo it. Next one, we have GDP MM at 7:30. And this is for CAD. That would be a US CAD trade only. Crude oil inventories. This is a USD CAD trade. And then we go into the demo trades for the day. You can demo trade this one if you want to see how, and excuse the language, if you want to see how fucked up the spread gets, go ahead and trade this one. I guarantee you're going to see like maybe a 50 to an 80 pip spread on both of these. But feel free if you want. I mean, it's a good way to learn. You will see what happens when the spread gets out of whack, and you will just have, before news even hits, you will start seeing orders pop like crazy because the spread's going to get so high, it's going to push price outside of your straddle without price actually being outside your straddle. So if you want to see what happens if you completely screw up, feel free to trade these China ones on demo. I mean, go for it. Won't kill you, but it's a good way to learn. Next up, Thursday. Thursday will start at 3:30 in the morning my time. We have GBP, or cable, whatever you want to call it. This is a straddle. Again, this is GBP. Be careful with this thing because the spread on it is out of whack due to all this Brexit bullshit talk. I honestly will not be doing this live. I'll be doing a demo. I'm not going to dick with GBP until this Brexit shit calms down. Now, where this comes in is this sucks because overall GBP was bringing in decent pips for me, so I'm taking a hit on my monthly pips that are coming in because I'm moving it to demo. And on demo, I'm glad I did because my results aren't spectacular. I'm getting more the Mercuries, the shoot and burn ones of small losses than I am anything. Unemployment claims, you could do that across the board. Euro, UJ, and Pepperstone. If you want to do it, US CAD, you can. And FXCM, again, demo it to see if it's feasible. 9 o'clock, again, another US. That's a good one. And we have a demo here. So we have two live trades and 2 demo trades for Thursday. And remember, if you are trading Forex or binary options, Wednesday is end of month. We might see some odd movements there. You get things like hedge funds and stuff closing out their positions so that they can report profitably for the month. So just be careful trading on Wednesday with binary options or with Forex scalping, as you might see some weird things happen as they close positions out. Okay, so Thursday we went over. Again, be careful with GBP. In my opinion, right now, it's not worth it to trade it live. It's just too volatile with the spread, and I'm getting my ass handed to me on demo. So I've taken it off the live rotation. Another one, GBP, 3:30 in the morning on Friday. I'll be demoing it. Now, here's the one that we got, the big one that we have. 7:30 a.m. on Friday is NFP. Last month was a dud, and we can see that did affect the overall results of people. Basically, this is the one that stacks you a shit ton of pips real quick as long as you catch it good. And last month it was a dud. So hopefully this month it has a nice movement. For this one, you can trade Euro USD, USD JPY, and USD CAD. Again, stay away from GBP USD. Any other pairs I haven't traded, I know someone mentioned that they're going to try it with USD CHF. I think what you'll see, and this is what happens on FXCM, is the spread gets too out of whack there. I'm interested to see what Pepperstone does on it, and I'll be running 4 pairs on Forex.com just to see. I'm going to be running Euro, UJ, UCAD, and USD CHF. I'll join in the fun there. But on my live trades, I am only going to be doing US CAD, Euro USD, and USD JPY, and that is for Friday's trades. That is NFP, which we will start going over tomorrow with settings, talking about what can happen with it. Basically, it's just real important to prep for it. I mean, it's real important to prep for every trade, but NFP is a different beast because it can get really volatile, and you can't have as tight a spread. Our max spread disappears from the EA because what will happen is one tick can bring in a 20 pip spread, and that won't close out your trade because let's say you're already 40 pips in profit, and then we get a one tick spread of like 23 pips, just as a crazy example, and it closed the trade, but the trade continues to move upwards, then you miss out on 20-30 pips. You end up only pulling in 20. I mean, if we get an 80 pip move and you get a max spread tick in there and it closes it out, it's disappointing to say the least when that happens. So for like I said, we will be going over the settings in detail tomorrow. That way we have 3 days of people to review that video, go through it, and ask questions. But max spread is turned off for the NFP in your EA. All right. Along those, do we have any questions before we get going? I'm going to talk a little bit about what changes we're making to the news EA and how it's going to have. You're actually going to have 7 files now. I tried using a magic. I did get a little bit of work done over the weekend. Friday, I actually did dump a magic number in to the EA as a setting, and it still didn't work with the way I wanted it to. The log files are the problem, because even with a magic number, it doesn't create separate log files, and that's a real pain in the ass. But I'm trying to think how we should do this. If we have questions, anything, we can take a look at charts real quick. Let's see what we're set here. We're at 30, but what are we at? So here. Let me just load it up. We'll review the charts real quick, and then I'm going to go into the news EA and how we're setting it up now. Alright, so let me close a couple things. USD, GBP, let's open up USD, new chart, or UJ. Yeah, build 3.5. I already have it open, that's a bad idea. What am I, Euro USD? Yeah, I need more coffee. And 1 minute. Okay. Let's open up some offline. Oh, I have to set the template. I mean, I can already see market euro looks a little flat. Let me get these into my order that I like. Then I'll open up AUD USD. Okay, we're looking good there. Let's get those in order. Okay, offline GBP USD. Let's get how that looks. And if you have questions, guys, chime in. This is my 10 pip build. That's our goal on this one, is 10 pips on an initial entry. Next, Euro USD. No, too far. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I'm a mess today. It's alright, though. File, open offline. USD JPY. And last, AUD USD. Then we'll go through the charts, take a look at them, see what we see. Alright, so let's get them in order so I can tab through them easy. I did have a request to show how I don't use a mouse on the when I'm flipping through charts, so I guess we could cover that. How about Wednesday? Okay, cool. Wednesday's good for me then. Okay, so let's make sure we are in order. Okay, let's start off GBP USD. And did I load that up right? I'm just missing. GBP USD, one, I'm not trading it, so we're going to breeze through this real quick, but let's zoom out a little. It did have a little bit of a range on it, and now it's moving upwards. The range was about 21 pips, so that wouldn't be too bad for binary. The thing is I'm not trading it due to all the Brexit crap. It is moving upwards here. So just for educational purposes, we're going to go through how we determine if we're going to be trading on a chart. First thing we want to look at, Rinko time. This is the 1 minute line, this is the 5 minute line. Candle-wise, they're moving along decently. We're getting 1 to max 5-minute candles. Typically, we're getting under 1 minute, so it is moving. Next is the average candles, the average pip movement on candles. We're at about 3.5 pips, so this is actually looking very nice. The problem is my spread spiking up to 2 or higher because since Brexit, the spread on GBP has been very volatile. So technically, if I didn't know anything happening in the world, this looks excellent. Our Renko time is good, which means we're going to get into a trade and the candles are going to form within a reasonable amount of time. And 2, yeah, okay, so and 2, the average candle size is definitely fine, which is about 3.5 pips. Okay, next we have Euro USD. It was flat. It is breaking out of a range right now. It closed below, so we might have a possible run down. Let's take a look at it over here. This thing's been trending all day. If you got into this early in London session, you would be fucking golden. I mean, it's pretty. Let's take a look at what we're looking at here. Here's the 1 minute, here's the 5 minute. Now, the difference is this one is a little bit slower moving, and the pip size is about 3. So it's a slower moving pair. Euro is typically slower moving. But right now it's sped up. We've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've gotten 8 candles in less than a minute. All of them formed in less than a minute. This was the break of the range that I was talking about right here. You could have possibly gotten in, but if you're following for a re-entry, then you could have gotten in around here somewhere. Right, this is the first one that closed totally below right here. So this was your re-entry candle. If you don't know what I mean by initial entry and re-entry, just go through my videos and you'll see. If you can't find the videos, let me know and I'll link them. And we'll talk about it then. Okay, next up we got USD JPY. So Euro is tradable, it's just slower moving. Not extremely slow. I mean, here's the 5 minute. We're not seeing much above that, but it is a little bit slower moving. So that's all you really have to take into account. So it is a perfect pair to trade right now. Remember, we do have the US Open in 45 minutes, so just be aware of that. Now, UJ already looks like it had its moved up, and now it's ranging. We'd be looking for a break of range. What do I mean by that? Be looking for price to close higher or lower than this box right here. And then we can look to get in. Let's see what it looks like over on Renko. On Renko, it is a fast-moving pair. Look at all these below 1 minute. Nothing is hitting 5 minute. Average candle size is almost 4 pips. So UJ is tradable, but we're in a range. You just have to realize we're in a bit of a range right now. So it's just wait for it to break out, up or down, and then jump in. We can see we're in a range because, look, it's going green or red, green, red, green, red, and a bit of a movement up. All right, trying to think. Next, AUD USD. AUD USD is looking a bit flat. Over on Renko, let's take a look first, and it is slower moving. We can see these two candles here each took 30 minutes plus to form. And then here's the 15-minute line, the 5-minute line, and the 1-minute line. So if we look, we got a lot of 5-minute candles tossed in there. So AUD USD is creeping along, and pip size is borderline. It's right at 2 pips. So AUD USD I would not be trading right at the moment. Just sit and watch it. Maybe it'll pick up pace, and the average candle size will grow. Right now we can see it's dropping below 2 pips. So that means for some slow, boring trades, they're going to last quite a while. Let's see if we had any messages on Slack. Okay. So do we have any questions on what I've covered so far? We're looking at holiday trading now, so it is time to be careful with binary options Forex. Number 2, this is an NFP week. Number 3, is that, let's see, calendar-wise, let's take a look. Wednesday is the end of the month, so we want to be careful then. And that pretty much brings us up to date for this week. The next thing I need to do is fix the EA for the news trading, and then go over on how to set it up. It's going to fix a small issue we had when, let's say you had a GBP trade at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, then 6 in the morning. Yeah, give me a second, let me answer that one. Alright, so if there's any questions, you can ask on Slack, Skype, and the YouTube channel is preferable so I can see it without having to jump other places. Again, guys, I can't stress enough on NFP coming up. If you're in the news trading group, please review tomorrow's video and get your questions out there so that we can make sure you're prepared for it. It is the easiest, I mean, the news trading is the easiest way you can make money out there that I can see. But you just need to follow the course and be prepared for it. Ask questions. The people that don't ask questions, you're never going to learn. Alright, so what I think I'll do is, I really have to go to the bathroom. I drank 2 cups of coffee. I think maybe we'll take a 5-minute break, let there be any questions, and after that, we're going to go through, and I'm going to real quick set up the EA the way it should be, and we'll go through on how that's going to work. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and stop the video now. We'll take a 10-minute break, and then that'll give me time to set it up, and then we're going to go through how the new setup for the EA will work. You will have 7 files, so make sure you check the Mega Depository for your new files, and there'll be an updated PDF in there on how to do it. That'll cover the Amazon web server and how to set up for the same pair having multiple releases in the same day. Like I was saying, so if GBP has 3 news releases tomorrow, we're making a change so it'll work fine. So if you can give me 10 minutes, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I would just pause it or something, but I need to do a break on the video so that the streaming. We're going to do a pause, 10 minutes, we'll come back, we'll go over the EA and how to make the changes for the new setups. That way y'all can all make some money on Friday and the rest of the month. Basically, it's just a little bug. Again, like I was saying, I tried doing it with a magic number. I think I covered this a little bit. But the magic number and the log file aren't compatible. It's still not working right, so we're going to do that. So, guys, ladies and gents, whatever, I need to get out of the habit of saying guys because we have quite a few girls in the group. Let's see what GBP just did. So GBP is breaking down. The fast is here, the slow is here, but we do have a good support here. If we wanted to look at it, it's about a 9.9 pip possible move. I'll open up a sell on it right before I go, just for the hell of it, because I am showing demo. This would be a somewhat risky trade, but it looks like we've already gone more than 50% of the move. When I say 50% of the move, here was the up move. We've already dropped down more than 50-60% of the way. And we will bring this to slightly above. This, on a scale of stupidity, I would give it a 7. Price just came through slow, closed below it. Fast would be a better. Candle-wise, we're getting a little bit above 1. The average movement is good, though. We are seeing the slow moving start to curve downward a little bit. Again, I guess I'll let this run until I come back, and then we'll cut the video and take a 5-minute break. But I'm going to go to the bathroom, come back, we'll let this one run, we'll talk about this trade just a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and pause it. Not pause it, then I'll stop, do the changes to the EA real quick, and then we'll come back and take a look how it works. Again, on the scale of stupidity, I'd give this a 60% chance of succeeding. Not an ideal setup, but I figure we throw something on here to talk about. Live, I would not take this, personally. It's a little bit too high a risk. Alright, so I'll be right back. Let me go to the bathroom, then we'll talk about this trade, then we'll cut the video, and we'll start up part 2 for today, which is going to be going over the EA for the news trading program. so that we can make sure everyone is ready for NFP. I mean, guys, seriously, you can't beat working 15, 20 minutes a day to make money. If you can't keep yourself that, how'd you say, if you can't be disciplined enough to look at just a web page, set up an EA, and then review the results the next day and set that up as a pattern in your life, you don't take this the wrong way. You don't deserve to make money. All right, guys, I'll be right back. I didn't mean to end that on a negative note, but sorry. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so let's take a look what this bitch is doing. Like I said, this was not a good trade. One, it's GBP USD, which is not trading. Two, you can see the spreads popping up to 2.1, 2.2, which just, even when I'm down here, that I'm still not in profit. This would be considered an initial entry, which we would be going for the full 10 pips as a goal, which would mean down here. Which was the other reason I was hesitant about this, is it's on demo though, so I don't give a shit. But right here is our goal was slightly below this line, which is a good support, and meh. But we can see this one really isn't working out. I mean, max we could have gotten out of this was so far about 6.8 pips. Again, this, like I said, this is not the trade I would have taken. We'll check real quick on anything else. Euro, again, has had several opportunities throughout the day. It's a slower moving pair, but with this kind of trend, it's worth getting in and letting it wait and just letting it ride. So it is definitely worth getting in on, it was worth getting on Euro. We're 27 minutes to the bell, so right now I'd be a little bit hesitant. Plus right here we had a support. UJ, it's piddling along in a range right here. You can see this range has continued and it hasn't broken out, so that's why we're not touching it. And AU might have a possibility that it could be breaking out right now. Here it is above. We almost have an initial entry for this if you wanted. Again, I would say this one's a little bit riskier, but we'll watch it for a minute. I don't want to extend the video too long, but we'll watch it and see what we get. Slow is turned green, or it's closing up. If it we want a candle to completely close above. This one's borderline, it's touching it. But if it closes above and fast pushes through and this turns green, then yes, we could have it. See, now GBP is going to hell. That's why I said this one was not a good trade. We'll see what happens, but in my opinion, this is something I wouldn't have taken. I just wanted to show. Like I said, I'm not trading GBP, plus I just didn't like this trade at all, but it gave us something to talk about. This would have been considered an initial entry, but you can, again, if you have any questions on why this was a bad trade, hit me up and I'll talk to you about it. But fast and slow did come through. 6.8 was about down here, pips. I probably would have exited out at that point if I was dumb enough to get in this one, but we'll see what it does. There's UJ moving. And it still hasn't broken out of range, so most likely it's going to come down here and then bounce back up. AU, this was the candle we were waiting on to close above. It still hasn't closed above, and we haven't gotten a green down here. This would be a risky initial entry if you want to wait and be a little bit more safe. If you want to wait and be a little safer, you'd wait for the fast to cross above so we know that the momentum's picking up. Remember that we want to think about exhaustion too. How many green bars up has it gone before we get initial entry? If we have a bunch, like this is GBP, this move down, even though it's downward, this is looking at exhaustion by this point. So is what'll happen, I would guess, it's going to move up a little bit and then it's going to drop. But it's already hit an exhaustion point here of moving down. Basically, they've taken their pips and they're getting out, and then they're going to wait for a pullback, and then you can get back in. So think about the amount of time it took for the trade to set up. About here's when the trade started setting up, but we've already had all these red bars coming down. So what are we going to most likely see is a couple green bars and then maybe a move down. UJ the same with that. Or I'm sorry, Euro the same with that. We had our move down, so now we're probably going to move up, and then if it continues downwards when the US opens, then after this pullback would be a good time to get in. Sorry. And that'd be for re-entry, because our initial entry was way the hell back here. But we can see it was moving very slow at that time. See how it was moving kind of slow? Oh, your coffee's cold. The other pot's still brewing. So do we have any questions on initial re-entry? When's a good time for entry? When's a bad time for entry? Like I said, I'm expecting that this thing will drop back down. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said, this was not the best trade because it's GBP and the spread on it's complete shit right now. I'm not trading this one live at all. I'm just not touching it. Well, so far we have no questions. I will give it 5 minutes, then I'm going to go ahead and end. Then we'll take a complete 10-minute break, and we'll come back, and then we will go over the EA and the changes. And then we'll end that video, then I have to update the PDF on everything. Da, 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 da. Alrighty, so trying to think. 4 minutes left. We had one question. The right now I am testing this one because yours stays green when like DJ said. The one you have, the TA cycle you have, doesn't turn red or green. It stays green all the time. I'm testing this one out because it has alerts when the line crosses below 0. It kind of works. The colors work, but the alerts are quirky, so I'm still working on that. Unfortunately, the coder that I had kind of just vanished on me in the middle of doing this one and the EA. So the first coder that I tried, actually, he made one fix and it worked okay, but he seemed a little bit clueless and didn't have the knowledge I needed for the EA. So I'm still back to looking for a coder. I couldn't believe how hard it is to find one, because a lot of them there's a shit ton of coders out there with basic knowledge, but not a lot of them out there with a lot of decent knowledge enough to be able to do things correctly without screwing up the work that's already been done. So just be patient there. As soon as I find someone, we'll get it coded up for you and you'll have it. Any other questions? That was a good one, DJ. Don't worry. Thanks for noticing. But yeah, it's sometimes the alerts will just start going off. You'll get like alert after alert after alert after alert. What happens is if price stalls right at the alert level, it'll just start popping and you'll get like 50. I actually have to remove the indicator from the chart because it'll freeze MT4 up if I let it keep going. Like you'll get 100 alerts in 10 seconds. Any other questions? Because otherwise I'm going to take that 10-minute break. We'll come back and go over the news EA and the changes that we're going to make to it. So far, nothing. We got about 2 minutes left for a question. Again, last time I'm going to say it, GBP, USD, I would steer clear of it, especially today with Draghi speaking about Brexit, I think. Just stay clear of it. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth losing money on. Euro's one to watch today. UJ and AU, not that special today. See, AU closed above and immediately bounced back down. We'll see if it comes up. Now, what I said with it, we never had an initial entry, though. We never broke above 0 on the cycle, so we still don't have an initial entry here. You can watch AU for an initial entry, maybe. Let's zoom out a little on it. Up, down, up, down. Yeah, it has room to move up. After this big move down, I would say it does have room to move up a bit. So watch AU for an initial entry. That's a mouthful to say when you keep saying it. Remember, we did have initial entry. This would have been a risky one, but you still would have been in the ball game. This would have been a good one here, and this would have been your conservative one, which would have bounced up, and then it would have bounced down nicely, and you would have got your 10 pips. So your initial entry was here. Your secondary entry was here. And you would have lost on this one, it looks like. Let's see, 3, 6. Yeah, if you were watching it, you could have pulled 4.4 out of your butt, but I probably would have lost on that one. But we did have one winning initial and a second re-entry, and then probably a loss right here on this re-entry. And then now we would sit and wait and see what happens. So just be careful on those. You want me to go over initial again? Okay. Let me draw a line then. Initial entry on this one. This would have been a no-no because the bar didn't close completely below. Another one, you could have been, I guess if you're aggressive here, for me this would have been it here. Now if we look at it, then what we're worried about is, did it go 10 pips up? So 7 pips up plus 1.8 on the spread, that's 9.6. We still would not have been closed out, and it dropped here. So initial entry here. Yeah, so we would have got our 10 pips there. Now we're waiting. That's initial entry. So this is initial entry. Now we're looking for re-entry. So price moved up, came down. Re-entry would have been here. That would be our re-entry and down. So that one's good. Now our third re-entry, and this would be our loss, is right here. So this is our third re-entry, but that would have taken a loss. Now, you should have had a little bit of a warning, though, because if the fast-moving average came up and down, we would have hoped for another down drop, but this one would have been a little bit riskier. But, you know, I would have been in it. Honestly, I would have taken this trade, and it would have been a loss. We would have had win-win loss. Actually, let's see. Yeah, it would have closed out right here when it hit the slow-moving. So we would have gotten shut out right about 7 minutes ago. This would have just now closed. Personally, I would have probably closed it when this went green again, since I keep seeing the uphill movement on it, and it closed above here. Yeah, it's about either way. Let's look at GBP. GBP after the entry, you see it just went flat. I predicted that it's going to move up a little bit and then come back down. That still hasn't happened. It's basically hitting a resist here. Again, this was a risky one. One, because it's GBP. Well, mostly because it's GBP, and it's a piece of shit right now. Sorry to say that. Euro, remember, we'd be looking for a pullback. This is a good resist now, so let's see if it bounces off that and drops back down. We might have a re-entry here. USD JPY has nothing. Why do I say that? The fast-moving A is riding in between price. We could be watching for an initial entry south here. But if we look at this thing overall, and we know that US is about to open, and US has been pushing through new highs, would you take a sell on this? This is where it comes in a little bit of, I guess you could say, common knowledge about what's going on in the markets. Since Trump's been elected, USD is pushing pretty strong, so I wouldn't take a sell on this. It's USD JPY first, so USD strength means upwards movement. I think the move from the US has been exaggerated, so I do think we are going to see this turn south on us in a bit. It's not going to create new lows, but I think we're going to go back to that median where it should be. But I think right now the US is just pushing it too high. But I would not get in on a sell here just because I don't trust it. I think they're still going to push when the market's open here. Right now we're in pre-trading. The bell's going to ring in 15 minutes, and I think it's going to push back up. You can see even here when it's coming down, every time it's recovered back up. So USD JPY, I would probably wait for a buy opportunity and keep buying with the USD until that we see that that the bubble's been burst and it's going to return to median. Again, remember what I said here. This is AUD USD. We could look for an initial entry, but it has not happened yet. We need green. We need a close above. And if you want to be very conservative, we need the fast to cross above the slow. Again, though, US bell in 14 minutes. So we'd want to hold off on this right now. I'm in a no trade zone right now. This one, the only hope it has is when USD opens, they push it right down, which is a pretty good possibility. Then we pick up our 10 pips. Let's have some more cold coffee. Any questions, guys? I know that I said 5 minutes, but we did get one question that led me to babble a little more. So do we have any questions, guys? We know what to look for over the next hour or two on the 4 majors. If you notice, I do only trade majors. I don't trade minors or exotics. Reason being is the spread. If you're scalping, The spread is your enemy. My favorite pair to trade is Euro because it has a 1.1 to 1.3, 1.4 spread on it. So when you can get in some good trades on this, it makes it very easy to make money. My second favorite would be UJ. It does a 1.2 to 1.5. AUD USD is a little bit higher at 1.8, but it holds steady. Then GBP is a piece of crap because it bounces from, it used to be a 1.1 to 1.3, now it's a 1.4 to 2.1, 2.2 pip spread. So it's just complete shit. That means that price here has to go 2 pips below this line before my order is closed. And if you're not familiar with spread and what it does, I did a complete video on spread. Go back and review that. And it talks about how the spread affects your entry, your exit, everything. If you're trading and you don't know what the hell the spread is, I would definitely go back and watch the video. Alright, so it's looking like we don't have any questions this time. Every time I say that, we get a last minute question. So let's give it one more minute, and then like I said, I'm going to take a 10-minute break, go get my coffee. We're going to come back, we're going to go over the News EA tomorrow with the News EA, the new version. It's not a new version, it's just we're renaming it, and I'll explain that in the next session we're going to have today. But be ready for NFP. I mean, the next 3 weeks are going to be a lot of news releases, so this is when you're going to make your money. So all we need to do is pay attention, follow the course, and you'll make your pips. Especially if NFP pops in your direction, dude, it makes the month nice. Last month we had a dud, so it's been very tight. I initially thought I had 67 pips for this month, but I only have 47. Something was wrong on my spreadsheet. I got to go back and check because it added up my pips wrong. Because then when I put on here, I was missing 21 pips. So I have to go through and look at my spreadsheet and see. And again, if you don't know which to trade this week, watch this video again. At the beginning, I'm covering which news releases to trade and which ones not to. Last words on the news trading course. Trade majors only. Trade US session, London session only. That'll keep you out of trouble. It'll keep your spread in check. It'll make it a happy day for you, and you'll make your money for the month. On that note, let's go ahead and stop the recording. I will be back in 10 minutes, and we will go over the EA. So 10 minutes, I'll be live again, okay? Maybe 15, but 10. Well, 8:30, right when the bell rings, we'll be live again. So what's that? 11, 12 minutes from now. All right, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We will talk then. Wait a second. We did have something pop up. Okay, that one. Hello, sir. Okay, so that one was not related. Alright, guys, I'll be back 10-15 minutes.